To get from the G League to the league, you gotta be made different. And now's their chance to prove it at the G League Winter Showcase, a different kind of tournament for a different kind of hooper. Ready for the next level. This is a whole different league. This is the world's most G League. From December 19 through 22nd, catch the action on ESPN Networks and NBA TV.
Benjamin Betts. It's all about the Benjamin Betts, baby.
You know what's up? Yes, Benjamin Betts, baby.
And welcome back to another episode of Benjamin Betts, the show where myself, Jared Downhauer, and my best friend Corey Dickman put 100, or in some cases hundreds of dollars worth of bets down, and all of the winnings go to charity. There's an important distinction that you need to understand if you're listening to the show. There are winnings listening to Benjamin Betts. We have shown statistically through this year of the podcast that if you bet with us, you are walking away with money right now. Whether you're betting NFL or NBA or even esports, you're walking away with cash in your pocket. So that's why we encourage you to listen to us, bet with us. Give us a like, shoot us a message. We want to connect with you all, and we have been over this past week. Isn't that right, Corey?
We have, we have some people that are now actually putting their mortgages down on our bets, which is a little terrifying, but let's do it, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it. I love it. Now, I want to say this before we get into dissecting and talking about last week. In the NFL, we're in week 10. We are now over the hump. Last week was the midpoint, as you were, or I guess you could argue because of the bye weeks and how long it is. We're in the midst of it now, but I feel like we're finally seeing what teams really are. Mm-hmm. My first question to you, Corey, is: does that matter? Does that all seeing the last 9 weeks of the NFL? How is that playing into what you're picking?
Yeah. I think it does, because now you can kind of see the trends and who the teams are. And honestly, are they playing for wins, or are they just now looking at college football results and how's Bryce Young looking, and do we need to start tanking and all? And so that does play into it. It doesn't mean though that they just suck. It might just mean maybe these are just going to be shootouts, and that's what it is. So maybe bad teams, these spreads will start to really expand, where you may see 16-point spreads, 15-point spreads. And maybe that's too much, because these garbage time, these teams are still trying to score some points, but they clearly they're not going to compete in the actual game. So you can, this is good. We want more information in order to make educated bets here. And we need a sample size. That's why week 1 is always the hardest sometimes, although we did do very well in week 1. But, now we get to kind of see what's going on. So, yeah, I think it does. Every game we get to see injuries, all this stuff, playoff positioning, all those things I think do start to, for sure, play into it.
Absolutely. And now we're going to see the weather change. I think that's huge, especially with what I'm about to tell you. I heard this week that this season, historically, is one of the lowest point total seasons that we have seen in, I think it was a couple decades.
Dang.
Which speaks to a lot of the unders we've been hitting.
Yeah.
I think we're somewhere in the 50 percentile on overs. But now that's kind of like circulating through my head as I'm thinking about all this.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, that's really engaging. A lot of people are wondering where all the points are, except me, who played against Joe Mixon this week. And I know where all of the Cincinnati points came from. So, but let's recap last week and talk about it. We had a 3-3 week.
Yep.
I was a little terrified coming out of the noon games.
Yeah. Can you, let's specify this. We were like on the table. We were dying. Like we were 0-3 going into the afternoon. Like it was very terrifying. Now we did, the mortgage was 1 up after that Vikings Commanders game where they squeaked by, where we took it in our normal game bets at 3.5, but then we were able to tease that down. So we still hit on the mortgage. That was the only thing we had hit on going into the afternoon games. And then, of course, saved by Gino and the boys. Just,
Saved
you know,
by Seattle.
no sweat, not even sweating it. Won that bet, had the mortgage secured. So I think that was the first time mortgage had been set going into the Sunday night, which was good. The Titans did their thing. Man, 12.5 points, too many.
Come on, man. Like, has nobody been watching that series over the last 3 or 4 years?
No.
12.5 was taking candy from a baby.
Oh,
Even with Malik as
Yeah.
the quarterback.
As long as you have Derrick Henry, he eats up on those Kansas City. He just nom. He just sees those red jerseys and he has 200 yards. You know, so that was, I felt pretty. I mean, we felt good about that. So,
Yes.
yeah, and then Monday night coasted. You know, the line changed a little bit by a point. We had it at 2.5 Ravens or -2.5. It went down to 1.5, so people were getting a little bit of a discount, but it didn't matter. They almost won by what? 2 touchdowns, 13
Yeah,
points. So
It's proof to me that we talked earlier in this year about how we really think the Ravens are going to be strong coming out of the AFC, and I think that's just evidence, right? The Saints were off a hot week, coming in, and that just proves it. But this week is a really, really interesting week. Lot of interesting games, a lot of traps that I'm looking at that I'm trying to. A lot of traps that I'm trying to avoid. But if you don't mind, I'd love to kick us off this week with where we should start.
let's go, baby. Kick us off, man.
All right.
Kick us off,
Well,
JD.
My goal this week was to beat you to the punch. So I'm going to Tampa Bay, and I don't understand. Okay, so I wanted some context for this.
Uh-huh.
I was watching the Tampa Bay game
Okay.
this past week, and
Yeah.
it was magical to watch Tom Brady march down the field and do what we have historically seen him do for 2 decades.
Yeah.
However, is that the Bucks coming to Jesus moment? No, not with Seattle rolling into town, and you're going to give me points. You're going to give me points rolling into Seattle, but I'm not even taking the points. Give me Seattle outright in Tampa Bay as our first bet today.
Wait. So hold on. I'm with you, but this is the Germany game. They're playing this in Germany. Okay.
It does not matter to me. Like, I am German. I've been talking to my friends over there. You know, das Football is going to be just fine. I think it will be good. Tom is an old man. The jet lag is going to be laying in on him. But really what this says to me is they think that there was a turning point. Vegas thinks there was a turning point for the Bucks. And I just don't think that there is. I'm not a believer. They played the Rams. The Rams are garbage right now.
Yeah.
And now you have this hot team with a really strong offense and a good defense rolling in.
Yeah.
Give me Seattle outright
and
in Germany.
What was the name of your German professor that that said you had to do that extra credit work and you never did?
I cannot mention that publicly because I am still afraid that my degree will be revoked. So I don't know what you're talking about, actually. That's an interesting story you're bringing up.
As long as Seattle doesn't... Tampa played so far back on that last drive for Brady. Like, they didn't pressure the man at all. And that has been the Brady 101, right? You just pressure him. Go after him. Don't let him sit back there. And even at 45 years old, he just had a little 8-yard outs and just marched down the field. It looked like those old Patriot, comebacks where they just kept giving him 5, 6, 7 yarders.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why they changed up their scheme. There's 50 seconds left. So as long as Seattle can stay aggressive, and again, Gino's been so good about not making boo-boos, knock on wood. 2.5, again, it's just disrespectful. This is disrespectful. So Seattle taking them. I love it.
Outright, baby. Plus 120 all day. All day.
all day long. I think I've noticed, we definitely, we're creatures of habit, and we get into our rhythms of how we do things. And I I just love the Music City, Jared. I think Nashville is a beautiful town. You live there. It's the home really of like escape rooms and pedal bikes and everything fun to do and Dolly Parton. And you know what else it has? It has a winning week this week. -3. I like the Tennessee Titans at -3. I think, even though I'm over Russell Wilson now, I'm over it. They're terrible. We're great. I'm fine with it now. But come on, screw him. So we're going to Henry and the boys, -3. They can do this at home.
Love it.
Tennessee, I think we're rolling with them. I feel good with Tennessee right now. I wish this was 2.5, but I'll take the -3 Tennessee Titans over the Denver Broncos.
Great. I think you could also take the under even if it said 20. This is a 7-3 game, Tennessee. Like this is ugly old school football.
The under was pretty enticing there too. You're right.
Yes, so. I'm looking at that and I'm like, yep. I would take that.
Love it.
I'll tell you what's really interesting to me after watching last week. We have this game that, for all intensive purposes, does not matter in Chicago. Detroit at Chicago.
Yep.
And I think Chicago has kind of had a turning. They've figured some things out. They are putting points up.
Yeah.
As of last week, Detroit, I think, started the season putting the most points up. I know I mentioned this is a low-scoring year for points, but neither of these teams are playing defense, and both are playing offense.
Sure.
So I don't know how this game doesn't go over 48 points.
Yeah.
I have no idea who wins this game. I don't care.
Yeah.
But there are going to be some points in this game.
I think the only thing, and I'm with you, I had actually the Bears marked to win. I think and I don't think this gets into this way because Detroit won't let that happen. But, Chicago can just burn clock running because they have like 9 guys that just run the ball, right? Fields and Montgomery and Herbert and all these people. So, but they're like chunk runners. These aren't like 2 yards, 3 yards. I mean, these guys are getting like 7 yards and Fields 61-yard touchdown. Like, so, yeah, I'm with you. I could see over. I could see this game just being track meet, and just there's a weird ending too. Like, I don't know, like a weird ending. I don't know how more to describe that, but I see that.
Because there's a lot of pride in the NFC North. Like, when you think about that, like football up in the North is a little bit different, Big Ten and all that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody going to be rolling over in this game, in a divisional game.
No, nobody would be rolling over. Okay, I like it. Marked down. This next one, you might eye roll me, but I want to go to Monday Night Football.
Oh, I was going to go to Monday Night later, but what you got?
I'm telling you, don't log off. I think I like the Commanders plus 10.5.
Wow, I don't think that's a bad bet at all.
I mean, I think they play hard. It's a divisional game. I get Philly. I understand. They're really good. They're scoring points. Their defense is incredible. I have their defense on my fantasy team. So, I'm always very, very in tune to what's happening. But I see this Washington team. I mean, they're 4-5, I think. They were 4-4 going into last week. I think we've picked against them a few times. They've cost us, or I'm sorry, we win against them, but it's always like a heart attack. Like Minnesota. Yeah. Remember the Tennessee game where Wentz threw the interception in the end zone against the Titans? You were watching that
like a little baby.
Yeah, like so we skate by, but they keep it close. That's all they need to do in this game is just keep it close. So
I love it. They're playing with a lot of unity and pride on that team right now.
They are, and they're not terrible. I think we get it mixed up because the organization is so messed up and bad. But and Taylor Heineke's the quarterback. But I don't know. I think they play. Give me 10.5, man. Give me them Commanders.
I heard there was talk that Jay-Z and even Jeff Bezos were potentially buying out this.
Yeah, Kevin Durant,
team, which is very interesting.
Yeah, KD was coming on board. I read that too with them, or he was wanting to. I don't know. I don't think Jeff.
That's interesting.
Jeff Bezos.
That's really great.
Probably
Maybe
doesn't.
he should win some games in Brooklyn.
You know
before
what they
he
should do?
starts mixing his money up.
I think Bezos, it'd have to be a rival organization, but he should buy one, and then his wife should buy the other one, just so their teams compete against each other every once a year or whatever. I think that there would be drama there because I mean she got billions too. They could both step up and buy a team.
Absolutely. I would rename the team the Amazon Piranha if Bezos buys the team.
Just call them
Mighty Piranha.
No. It's the Amazon like Optimus Primes or something. Because Prime.
No, you got to like think about like the Amazon like the old Greek Amazon women, like the
sure.
Amazon. I don't. What were the Amazon? I don't know. Moving on. We need another
Amazonian people.
Amazonians.
They
Totally
listen to our
lost my
podcast.
train of thought there.
They're making bets in the jungle.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
Yeah.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
I'm staying away from Minnesota Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah. Don't play with them.
Indianapolis Colts and the Raiders is like your two little brothers fighting in the backyard. You don't care,
Yeah.
whatever. But Pitbull did give me a call again.
Pitbull.
And he said, darling, and he told me to come on down to Miami with Cleveland rolling into town.
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation, and it was, Jared, I'm okay with you taking the over in this game, or I'm okay with you taking Miami minus 3.5. And we had a good conversation about that, and I decided to go Miami minus 3.5.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were going to do both of them.
No.
We get real
Yeah,
wily.
we had to talk it out. Mr. 305 has a lot to say, and it was a really good, meaningful conversation. Great guy.
Great guy.
But I just think Miami is hot right now.
Oh.
I know that game last week was close with Chicago, and that's why the 3.5 makes me a little worried.
Yeah.
Cleveland, I believe, was coming off a bye and had a really great showing the week before. But again, it's early November. Playing in Miami is a different game.
Yeah.
I take Miami minus 3.5. That offense is just clicking right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. It almost feels like, and again, I was watching that because the guy I was playing had Tyreek Hill, so I was watching most of that game, just being like, this is stupid. It's like a video game. He completes a pass literally to him, to Hill, and then Waddle, like every play. Like it's like every play is one of those two people. And I'm just like, I don't know how you stop those things. Cleveland, they have pride and they're playing. They got Chubb and Kareem Hunt, but I think, I'm with you. I liked this too. Again, this is one of those things where it was like 2.5. Oh man, no brainer all day, obviously. But 3.5, I'm like, just win by a field goal sucks. But I'm with you, man. I think. Also, do you think phone calls with Pitbull go quickly? Like, I feel like he'd keep you on the phone for like an hour just talking.
He is. He's a chatty guy, and it gets awkward sometimes where I'm like, oh, I'm like, gotta get my kids from school, and he's telling me about his new album and his new project he's working on, and then you're trying to respectfully leave that conversation in a good place because you don't want to insult the man. He's an icon.
Well,
so, hard.
Well, I had another phone call with a rapper as well. Lil Jon from the ATL called me. He goes, yeah, and I said, "What's up, Lil Jon?" He goes, you see the Falcons are playing the Panthers. And I said, yeah, man, I did. I said,
yeah, man.
I said, yeah, man. And I said, those Panthers just like, oh, just said, Corey, you suck. Like that game last week against Cincinnati. I think Carolina should lose their franchise because of that. That was just, 5 touchdowns to a single player. They knew we had them picked, and yet they didn't. That wasn't even close. And I think our mantra, Jared, in most of our games we do and just life is just like, just keep it close, man. Like, if it's an L, it's an L. But God, I want a chance right at the end. Like, give me a chance. That was a chance about 4 minutes into the game, and then it wasn't gonna happen anymore, which is so frustrating. It was like 3 hours of I just hated myself. So this is payback. This is how I get revenge on Carolina. Give me Atlanta -3. They're just gonna win. I don't know how Carolina. I think Atlanta's motivated. They're first in the division. They should want to come in here and win this game tonight. This is tonight, right. Thursday night.
Right. No,
-3.
It's not far away, right? Like the drive from Atlanta to Charlotte is not that far.
No.
And so the weather's not going to play factors in it. I'm with you.
But
I was
Jared,
looking at this game as well. But
I have another one I like. -2 make my mortgages. So
we're putting a 7th in this week.
No. I was gonna say I can move this if it's too much pressure tonight. Because if we lose this tonight, we're gonna be really down. Because we won't have a chance to hit the parlay.
No, I think it's a solid bet.
You think it's good?
I don't shy away from it because of the proximity to the recording here. No, Carolina is a garbage heap right now. And it's time that the Falcons lit it on fire, and we just all watched it burn.
All right, it's burning.
In the words of Usher, we got to let it burn.
Let it burn, let it burn. Okay, good. We're burning them. I was gonna almost convince you to take the Packers +5 against the Cowboys, but I don't think that's.
I won't touch the Packers. So no, you weren't gonna. Worse than the Carolina Panthers is when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback and you can't do anything with him. I'm so far off the Green Bay. I hope that Aaron Rodgers falls into a pile of cheese and loses his legs. It is just terrible in Green Bay right now.
Oh my gosh. And I'm with you. And let's let the audience know he's your quarterback on your fantasy team.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Not no more.
Did you drop him?
He's on the bench.
That's what I thought. I wonder, and we don't have a budget yet for a research team, but has Rodgers ever been a bigger underdog than +5 at home in his career? I mean,
I don't know.
When would Aaron Rodgers have ever been a bigger home dog? He was +10.5, but that was at the Bills earlier this year. But
I would take Dallas -10. I'm not kidding. Like, I really think the Packers are that bad.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is not exuding any type of leadership that would make me as a player want to play underneath him. He really is just kind of this whining baby. And it really makes me think if past MVPs should have gone to Devontae Adams instead of Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh, dang. We're slinging hot takes on here now. I like that. That's true.
So,
well, let's stay away from it, but I could see the Cowboys. You're right, man. I mean, they go in. They're Cowboys won't. This is not your and I's. I was going to say your dad's Cowboys, but they're definitely not that. But they're in between. This isn't you and I's Cowboys that we've known to love the last several years. This team doesn't really make boo-boos. They just, they're solid. Good defense. They run the ball. They just don't make those mistakes like they have been in the past. But I don't know. Here we go. Now we're first take, Jared. Too much Cowboy talk. We're not even picking them, and we've talked about them for too long.
I'm staying away from both of those teams, but let me recap this real quick.
Yeah.
We're going to go in time order. So for the Thursday night game, we like Atlanta -3 at Carolina. Carolina not playing. I don't even know if I could call it playing football right now.
Yeah,
but they do not look good by any stretch of the imagination. Their entire organization, they gave away everything. It's not good. Take the Falcons. Seattle is hot. They weren't anticipated to be. Tampa Bay shows some signs of life last week. This game is in Germany. but still bet the Seahawks. I'd take them straight up. I don't even think you need the 2.5 points. I think this is a Seattle win.
Oh, we're going money line.
Money line. We need a good
right.
money line this week. Seattle, we're taking them. Next, we're going to Detroit at Chicago. Points, and more points there at that game, as these teams can't seem to stop people, but they can put up some points, and especially Chicago seems to be figuring it out with Justin Fields. Next, we're going down to Miami, and we're going to take the Dolphins minus 3.5. In my opinion, this is probably the riskiest bet that we have this week, just because I could see a 27-24 victory here. But I think, Pitbull, to get him playing in the arena down there.
I thought you meant put him in the game.
Runs away with 3 touchdowns. It's fine. Cheetah's going to do us justice, and they'll win that game by 10.
Okay.
Then what has the potential to be the ugliest low-scoring game of the year in Nashville. We're taking Derrick Henry, and I wish they'd start him at quarterback too if they're not going to start Tannehill.
Yeah.
Which would be amazing. But we're taking Titans minus 3 with a very lackluster Denver Broncos team coming to town.
Yep.
And if Russell Wilson is cooking, he's on some type of slow burner.
He's on a
because
very
they ain't
slow
doing
burner.
a whole lot with that offense.
Yep.
And then potentially the pick of the week from my friend Corey
Come
Dickman
on.
here
Come on.
Monday Night Football, who has some faith in the Commanders
Come on.
going into Philly. They're getting 10.5. Or if you're a real believer, they're also sitting plus 390 if you're feeling wily.
I'd be so upset if we were 5-0 going into Monday night and we did the money line and the Commanders lost by 10. I would never forgive myself.
I would be crying.
That would be greed on greed. I can't do it. Won't do it.
We're going to take them plus 10.5. And now it's time for my favorite section of football, when we go to Corey Dickman, because we need to make our mortgage.
Come on.
And again, these ain't bets. These ain't bets that Corey's throwing out there. He's back on top of the curve.
Yeah.
5-4.
Thank God.
Back on top of the curve.
Yep.
So, Corey, I'm not interested in paying my mortgage this week.
Good.
For this month.
Good.
What can I lay some money down?
Good. Jared, you're a hardworking man. You need to throw your feet up, and you need to let make your mortgage on Benjamin Betts take care of your mortgage this month. So don't feel like you need to, take a week off if you need to. You don't need the money this week to pay your mortgage. We got it right here for you.
I'm excited to hear what you got cooking in week 10.
I think I've picked a combo of these before, and I'm just creature of habit. I can't get off it. So we're gonna start, and you let off the show, and you kind of scared me for a sec because you said you were gonna take Jacksonville. Is that you were saying Jacksonville? And I was like, oh no, I don't. They're good. They're decent. They won last week, but that's actually why I think they're gonna get stomped, because Jacksonville. I think they come in thinking they're one thing, and then the odds change. Like, they're going to win the AFC South now. And then you have Kansas City, who should not be happy with their performance on Sunday night. I know we like Tennessee, and they did us well, but that was just a mess. Mahomes didn't look particularly good in throwing. I know he ran the ball he looked like Michael Vick running the ball. But at home, afternoon game, which is like, these guys this isn't prime time. This is just literally we're kicking off. We're kicking off at noon, and I think Jacksonville gets slaughtered. So we're gonna take Kansas City 9.5. Obviously, this will get teased down into that 5.5 range, I think. But I'll tell you the other one, and then I'll tell you what actually, we can already tell you right now. So this will sit at 4.5. So we get Kansas City minus 5. Kansas City minus 5. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, this is bad, never lose it. I mean, the Colts did us real dirty earlier in the year against Kansas City. But this is a different Chiefs team, Jared. Minus 5, Kansas City. Easy money right there. Easy money. And then we're going to Sunday Night Football. And, we love our tech, Jared. Facebook, what we're on this platform here, PayPal. I don't know. I just think of all the tech that you use in your daily life comes mostly out of San Francisco and Silicon Valley. But the 7 points on either side, a little scary. Now it would get teased down. I just want the over here. I think the Chargers, your boy, the wide receiver for the Chargers, Austin Eckler, is healthy and playing. I don't think I'll ever see Keenan Allen again, but that's fine. I think even with no wide receivers, minus Eckler, they can still put up 20 points. The Chargers can.
Yeah. And if they won't, the way that San Francisco is playing right now, San Francisco could easily put up 30 in this game.
I think McCaffrey can put up, I mean, I know there's 6 points when you score, but he could be responsible for 21 points himself here.
Easy.
If they both do those two things, Jared, this is teased down to 41 points. Over 41 points. I don't even know what to say. I might take a second mortgage out on my house and put it on this game, like the make my big mortgage bet. Like I don't think we lose here. It would be the upset of the century if Jacksonville can even stay close in that Kansas City game. And if this doesn't go, minus an earthquake, minus a natural disaster.
Fair. We have not accounted for that. This is a straight California game.
This is, and I hope FanDuel would help us out there. But so anyway, that's going to make your mortgage this week. We got Kansas City -5, and we have the over Chargers at San Francisco, the 49ers, plus 41 points there.
I love that.
Teasing 4.5 points should just be slam dunk. Like, again, I probably won't even really be watching these games because I know that's a lie. I'll be watching. But I think I won't be sweating it. We're good. We're making the mortgage.
I like that a lot. My only caveat to what we are saying for make your mortgage is I do have Trevor Lawrence now in my quarterback position. So I am predicting like a 40-47 Kansas City win. That would be ideal.
Sure. Yeah, and I could see I can get behind Lawrence marching down the field to try to win the game or tie the game down 7 or something. I can get behind you there. And
may I remind you, I'm playing Jeremy this week, so you need me to win. So
do I though? Is he 5-4? What's his record?
He's 5-4 right now.
And
you need me.
And you're 4-5.
I'm 4-5. I'm not a threat. You need me to win this game.
That's true. I do need you to win. Why don't you put Rodgers in?
He's garbage. I can't stand him. I'm just so mad at Green Bay right now. We need to switch to talk to the NBA, or I'm going to get on a very ugly rant about how I feel about all the Green Bay players I drafted this year.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Let's get to the NBA because we are doing very well in the NFL. Little bit of an even break week, but when you count actually hitting the mortgage bet, we were profitable last week.
Yeah.
Made money for charity, but we making money. Not money. We're making money with Corey Dickman's bets in the NBA.
Let's go.
Hotness. There's a lot of money sitting now in the FanDuel account because of what's going on in the NBA. So take us through your record, what happened this past week, and predictions going forward.
Yeah. I needed to redo it. I think I'm 14-5 going in because I think I was 13-5 and then hit 2 nights ago, and then there was no basketball last night. So 14-5. We'll do the quick math there.
Right under 75%.
Woo! Yes, 74. Oh my Lord, have mercy, Jared. We in the big penthouse. I don't even know where else can Caesars put us. They need more rooms or something.
I don't know. I think you're in like one of those lounge seats, and they're feeding you grapes at this point.
They are
like Caesar himself.
So this week we benefited off a few things. The Wizards play really hard without Bradley Beal, and I don't know why. I don't have insider information on the team, but they play really hard. Kyle Kuzma, I think, wants to prove a point that he's not just like a forgotten trash player from the Lakers. So take Beal out. Oh man, they're like plus 10. Like the bettors have no faith in them, which is fine. I probably wouldn't either. But you watch them, they play hard. So we were winning on them, I think 2 or maybe 3 times this past week because their spreads were just not giving it much credit. So, when a 9-point +9 turns into +14. It's like, okay, come on. So Washington was solid. Navigated Portland decently well, I thought. I stayed away from them one of the games, but then all of a sudden we had Lillard and Simons back, so that was really great. But now, now we're favored in against the Hornets tonight. This is recorded on a Wednesday, so we'll see.
And you've been betting Hornets a lot too.
Yeah, Hornets actually. Now I think Hayward's out and one other player, and so I don't know if they're like the same kind of team that they had been, but the Hornets have been playing well. Kind of got off the Spurs bandwagon, probably at the right time. They've started to lose some games. There was a stat I read. They have the largest, I don't know how to describe it, the largest point differential in the fourth quarter of any NBA team. So it tells me they're close, but then they just lose it in the fourth quarter. So they kept it close. We had the Nuggets the other night. It was -2.5 in San Antonio. A little bit of a close game, but Nuggets pulled it out. I think a little bit of Celtics. Been throwing my money there a tad. They look strong. Memphis has been. They got Ja back. They got kind of their team that crew just won't get blown out. They play close games. So yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. I always want to take the Lakers. Like, I just feel like, because you're just like, oh my gosh, like at what point, like the season's long, but Russ off the bench has been pretty good. He's been very efficient. And I'm like LeBron and AD, and it's still like, I just haven't yet. I've stayed away, but I've always wanted to find my way back in.
I think that's a good thing you stayed away from the Lakers. Even if it was like Lakers +30, I'd be like,
yeah, no. But I was trying to think of the 5 losses, because you always remember the losses. So 2 of them were the Pelicans. 1 was the Miami Heat against the Blazers. That was 3. And keep in mind, I hit the other ones. I've never lost 2 of these.
Right. That's what's so impressive for those of you listening. Technically, what Corey has bet on is 38 games at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Because every single bet, if you're not familiar, Corey does a 2-team teaser, which means he's teasing points. And then if you would have done that just on a single game, your odds would not have been great. But because he's doing them on both games, you're getting +100, around +100 odds for getting more favorable points, but taking 2 teams. So it's risk reward.
Yeah.
So he's done that for 19 games now. And if you separated them, if you didn't count them as teasers, which obviously skews things because he's hitting some of the points sometimes, he would be 33-5 in predicting these games, which is hella impressive.
Come on. Let's go. Yeah, I can't remember the 5th loss. The 4th one was the other night, Chicago.
It was a Raptors game, I remember.
Well, it was a Raptors game. The other night was Chicago versus the Raptors, and I lost because I had Chicago -7. And
I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
There's 2. It was just 2 points. I'll think of it. I'll go back and look. We'll talk. I just, they don't ever stick with you. You just move on all the time.
But here's what I want to ask you though, because I think a lot of our listeners are probably wondering this thing is when I look analytically at what you have done is I think you did a really great job early in the year of figuring out what teams are good when other people didn't have a good read on that. I'm going to say you're fortunate because you're a Portland team and they're actually really good this year.
Yeah.
So you rode that bandwagon well. But then looking at your other bets, you were very high on the Cavs. Cavs have been doing very well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucks, I've seen a lot of Bucks bets come through as well.
Yeah.
But now that Vegas is seeing the same thing that you are and figuring out who's good, how do you adjust now that some of the point spreads are going to be going against some of the things that were not seen at the beginning of the season?
Yeah. Well, and you're seeing kind of some of the teams, like the Hawks, for example, were like kind of a slow start. And now they're making their way back in. I think even Trae Young had been hurt, but they're playing well. So like you see now the teams that they like the ones you just listed that now are, instead of being -4, now the Bucks are -8. And you just have to be okay with downshifting and saying, well, I'm going to take the Hawks in this one because there is more value to be had there. And these teams do kind of even out. That's what I was saying about the Lakers. It's like, I know they're terrible. When you look at their full roster, they're bad. But it's like, oh, man, are they really going to be the worst team in the NBA? Like, there's gonna be wins they get down the road. And Spurs were bound to happen. Again, they play really hard, but they were getting injured, and that one, the player Primo, that was like crazy situation, and so they're losing some of their players, so that's coming back down. I'm still waiting for the Jazz. I cannot believe that they just keep trucking, and at 8-3, they're number one. They're first in the Western Conference. I just like every time I'm like looking at them, I'm like I want to pick against them, but I just don't, and they're still winning. So yeah, I don't know. That's what it is, Jared. I think it's just seeing which teams still have good players and maybe got off to a slow start. I think the Bucks, we forgot to mention them, but yeah, it's just Giannis is so good, and he is at that level where you can just plug in. Because I think without Middleton, they thought, oh, this team's going to be bad. In the first 2 weeks, they didn't really adjust the odds there, but you can just plug in players with him, and it just works. Like he just takes he's a circle of influence. He gets them all the defenders, and then you have Grayson Allen, you got all these other guys, and they just perform well. And so yeah, the Bucks I think might again their points are going a little high to be picking them, but yeah, no, it's been good. It was good to have a day off yesterday. I was a little like
get out there and vote, baby. Get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote. So it was nice with a day off, but we got a full slate. We're gonna try a little something different. We're not gonna mention it now, but I think we're gonna try a different little bet, and we'll mention it on the next episode and let you know how it went.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I know what you're talking about.
I know. So, do you want to end us here? Do you want to recap some league with us? I did not have a chance to watch it, but you can just tell us. It's fine.
So,
if you want
as I mentioned the last week, I was fantastic with my picks in the quarterfinals. Dead wrong on my picks in the semis. But correct me if I'm wrong. I said, give me the underdog last week in the final. I said, give me DRX over SKT. And in game 5, your boy pulled through. And what was one of the great series. I stayed up late to watch this. The storylines were just everywhere. It was live in San Francisco, and the crowd was into it. I know I mentioned end up going to a movie theater. I didn't end up going. I just watched it at home. But it was back and forth the entire way.
Okay.
Game 1, SKT comes out, and I thought after that game, I thought it might be a 3-0 sweep.
Dang.
Like, they made DRX look silly.
Okay.
DRX switches some things up, comes back the next game, figures out what they're trying to do, picks and bans shift a little bit, gets the win. Next game, SKT comes slugging back. They win. DRX picks keep changing, and things are getting wilder and wilder. And the stage is set for game 5. But here's the 2 things I'm about to mention are what made this series phenomenal going into this last part. 3 things, actually, I want to talk about something specific. In League of Legends, you play from a particular side.
Yeah.
Think about like home or away field on a football game. But up until that point, every team had picked and won, I believe, from blue side.
Okay.
So blue side was undefeated going into that game. SKT, as the higher ranking team, earns the right in a best of 5 to pick their side.
Okay.
So they picked. Well, you're gonna go against the trend? No, you're not gonna go against the trend. So they picked red. They picked blue side, putting DRX at the disadvantage onto the red side.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, analyst desk, everybody except one person picks SKT to come home with the win.
Okay.
We get in there, and the picks are just going bananas.
Okay.
The entire finals, Caitlyn is banned. Caitlyn gets through.
Oh.
And picked up by DRX.
Oh, dang. Little lane control.
Beryl with the support for DRX pulls out a Bard.
Oh.
Pocket Bard pick.
Dang. Okay.
And it was just absolutely bananas. This crazy game. DRX is up up, 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 get a fight going to Baron, and then Varus steal
Oh, the
of
Baron.
the Baron by SKT.
Oh, jeez.
Single Q, empowered Q shot, steals
Dang.
this neutral objective. Crowd is going wild.
Oh my gosh.
Gold is staying even, and the game ends in this crazy fashion where SKT tries to sneak a 2-man base race around the dragon
What?
and fails.
No.
And DRX comes marching down the middle
What?
to win the game. Just this, it was one of the
They
craziest.
lost because of they tried to do a
craziest things.
base race. What were they
Yeah,
thinking?
just bananas fight.
Wow.
And it was just like watching the whole thing. And you have to understand something, like when we're talking about DRX, we're talking about a Korean team, but this was the underdog of all underdogs to ever win Worlds.
Yeah.
Like this was a David versus Goliath matchup. This team had gotten stomped. But one thing that I found out that I did not know, I didn't know that Deft and Faker went to high school together. The same
Oh
high school.
no.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes. And 2 players on the opposing team, Faker, a 3-time champion, Deft, never won, got his first Worlds win, one of the great ADCs that we've seen.
Wow.
And there were just so many different storylines. The crowd was electric. In League of Legends, there's a song called Silver Scrapes that plays every time. You've probably heard it on college football. And you get to hear that, you know, you're in. So it was just hype. The whole
Wow.
thing was hype, and I equivalate it to last year's NFL playoffs, which was so fantastic and
Yeah.
so fun
Yeah.
and so engaging all the way through. I personally thought that because I didn't have a dog in the fight with a North American team, that it was going to be lame. But man, what a phenomenal
Yeah.
playoffs of League of Legends, and it capped it off with what we all love, the underdog
Wow.
coming in and beating the Titan.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, Caitlyn Bard lane would be rough. Like that, like I could see why she was banned and then a pocket pick. But yeah, I mean those stories, especially with Deft as the 80 carry, never winning, playing for a year. I mean, that guy's probably been
He's
playing.
26.
He's 26. He's been playing since he's 16. Pro. I mean, that could
One
be
of the oldest players, yeah.
10-year career, maybe, you know. And I love him and Faker went to high school together. That's crazy. There, you know, there was some trash talking like, you stole that girl from me. Now I steal this Baron from you. Or no, Faker wouldn't have been on Varus. But yeah, I mean, wow, crazy, man. I'm glad that was exciting. It was a good, I mean, shoot, man. Season 2 was our first season we watched. Now this was what, like season 14 or something?
Yeah,
or?
it's
Crazy.
11, I think. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just cool. You know, it was just so much fun to see such high League of Legends and see the adaptations, and it's what you want. Like,
Sure.
whether you're watching NFL, NBA,
Yeah.
good, close, drama-filled matches.
So
And man, we get it.
when we buy Rogue Esports, Rogue Gaming, and we have our league team, and now we're in the off season. So now, you know, a lot of movement, always a lot of movement in league. Players getting picked up here, moving around.
Yes.
You get to choose one player from DRX to put on our Rogue team, and then we build the team there. Who are you bringing?
Oh, it's easy. It's Beryl. It's the support player.
The support?
He's been at Worlds the past 3 years.
Yeah.
He just sees the game so well. It's one of those shot calling players that you can build a team around.
Yeah.
I will also give a lot of credit to Kingin, the top laner of DRX, who went head to head with who I thought was the best player in the tournament, which was SKT's top laner Zeus.
Yeah.
And like made him look silly. But I think Beryl at the end of the day is the stuff.
Yeah.
And I would, in a heartbeat, pick him up and build a team around him.
Okay. All right. Beryl. There we go. It's like that was our only North American hope, was we didn't win a Worlds, but Core JJ did. And
That's right.
and American,
we got a Worlds, but we got a champ. It's like when Piglet was playing for us, and that's what was fun is they were showing so many old SKT highlights
Yeah.
during it, and you saw so many players that have gotten to travel around the world. But we always get the Korean players after their prime.
No, Core JJ was in NA, then he went to Korea.
I know, but then he came back. Right, he goes to Korea in his prime, and then comes back.
Oh, that's
afterwards.
what I'm saying. Piglet, Impact, these guys were, Smeb and Duke at one point. Like, they were Korean and then came to NA to retire.
Poor JJ went to Korea and then came back and still didn't.
And then came back. Yeah, then came back. So it was like, I was like, what? Court JJ's on? Because that was is that Gen G or Sam? Forgetting the team that they won that year. Not Samsung Galaxy. That was a long time ago. But anyway, very cool. Well, Jared, incredible. Good wrap up. When league picks back up, they'll take, it's their off season. So usually it'll pick back up in the summer. No, it'll be
spring. Later. It'll be 2 or 3 months. Winter.
Spring split.
It'll be winter. Yep.
Maybe we can find a decent sports betting platform that allows us to put some money down.
FanDuel,
League of Legends.
Where you at, dogs? Come on, man.
Come on, FanDuel, pick them up, man. What are you scared of? 16-year-olds playing games. Come on.
If you're looking for an odds maker, hit me up.
You want to be a handicapper? Call Jared. Let's go. All right, my friend. Well, this is going to be a good week. I'm always excited. As always, we'll post NBA stuff on Twitter at Rogue Coco.
Rogue Coco.
We may also announce a little Facebook group or something, but maybe we'll announce that next week. So let's
listen, y'all got to get on board with Rogue Coco. There's a lot of money being made right now at Rogue Coco.
It might be time for our Patreon, Jared. It might be time for people to throw us a buck or two to partake of our. No, let's finish the season and then we'll see where we're at. I don't want to jinx nothing. All right, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for hopping on. As always, make your bets. I don't know. We don't have a sign off.
We need a sign off.
We'll work on that.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. See ya.
See ya.
Yeah. This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.